Alright friends, strap in because this one could get ugly. If there's such a thing as a grammar hot topic, it's this one. So today we are going to be talking about the Oxford comma. What are you doing here? You're not even supposed to be in this video.
What's the plural of Oxford comma?
Oxford commas?
Oxenford comma.
You broke a hole in my desk for that.
Yeah, dude, that was pretty bad.
I stand by my decision.
Today's topic goes by a few different names, sometimes the serial comma, series comma, Harvard comma, but it's most frequently known as the Oxford comma. Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to let our famous grammar historian explain. Are you serious? You again? Come on, where's the historian?
Something about having to go get more ink for winky faces? I'm not really sure, but don't worry, I got this. So the Oxford comma is the comma that appears after the second to last item in a list, or the penultimate item in a list. So if we were to say Tiny Kate is the best at teaching, at making jokes, and at pretty much everything else, the Oxford comma would be this buddy right here.
That was a surprisingly lucid and coherent explanation. Thanks, Tiny Kate.
No problem. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna polish off this box and then go into a serial coma.
Alright, let's just move on. Let's take a brief look at an example so that we can see the purpose that the Oxford comma serves. Okay, so we have I love my parents, Elsa and Maggie. Now, raise your hand if, upon first hearing or reading this sentence, you think my parents' names are Elsa and Maggie. Well, in fact, they are not. This lovely lady right here is Elsa, and the stinky girl who sleeps next to me is Maggie. Now, we should note that this sentence right here does not contain the Oxford comma. So, let's add it in and see what happens. Ah, confusion gone. I love my parents, Elsa, and Maggie. So what that Oxford comma does is it signals to us that each of these items is an individual list item. Okay, so without it, the problem is Elsa and Maggie look like an A positive for parent. A positive is just a renaming of something, so I would say, I love my wife, Jess. Okay, my wife and Jess are the same thing. Without the Oxford comma here, parents and Elsa and Maggie could appear as if they are A positives or the same thing, okay? But the Oxford comma signals to us that they're not. And here is exactly what the Oxford comma does for us. It clears up ambiguities and unnecessary confusions. And I'm willing to bet, Elsa, that if you had read the sentence this way the first time, you would have had no confusion. Now, when we're talking about the Oxford comma, we are strictly talking about lists that have at least 3 items in them, okay? So a list of 2 items, let's just take a look at a quick example to see what that would look like. Okay, so we have I love my parents and I love Maggie. So in this case, our list only has 2 items. When that happens, no comma anywhere. Now most of us, especially those who have been out of school for a while, have probably been taught that the Oxford comma is optional, okay? I know I was taught this. Now this is true-ish, and what it depends on is which style guide you're using. So here's a list of all of the major American style guides that either require or strongly recommend the Oxford comma's use. Now over here is a list of all of the style guides that don't require it. So if you don't know what I'm talking about with style guides, let me just quickly break it down. If you're a high school student or a middle school student writing essays for school, you're using MLA. Okay, if you're a college student in pretty much any English class, you're using MLA. If you're a college student in most other classes, you're probably using APA, although it might be MLA or it might be Chicago. If you're a fiction writer, your editors are probably going to use either Chicago or Strunk and White, but fiction is kind of its own beast. So the only people who use these style guides over here are journalists. And why do the journalists omit the Oxford comma? because historically, journalists have had to fit their words in a very specific amount of space. They had to fit right in that column. So anything that they can abbreviate, they abbreviate. And it should be known here that AP style doesn't say no Oxford comma. They say use the Oxford comma if it clears up confusion. Now, I'm calling it, you heard it here first, within 10 years, I predict AP style is either going to require or strongly recommend the use of the Oxford comma. The reason is print media is just not as big as it used to be, and most of us are reading articles online, so that column space really doesn't matter as much anymore. But here's the bottom line. Omitting the Oxford comma often causes confusion and ambiguity, the way that we saw with our example. Including the Oxford comma virtually never causes confusion and instead clears up potential confusion. So unless you're a journalist, the Oxford comma is your friend. That's it. Thanks for sticking with me for another lesson. Hope that you learned something, and if you did, do me a favor and hit the like button. And if you like the way that I teach and think you might be able to learn more from me, hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss my weekly uploads. Elsa, calm down, okay? It was a joke. It was a joke. I was saying it for the screen. I would never bet you. Baby, 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 don't say that. You're safe. You're safe with me. You're safe with me. Shh, 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 shh. You're